I'd like to reconvene from closed session. I'd like to ask Mr. Michael Locktiff if you can lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The announcements for actions taken in closed sessions were were given. We have communications and celebrations. Dr. Gillian?
Thank you, Ms. Cruz. Members of the board, we do have, in fact, 3 celebrations I'd like to announce this evening, and River City High School is the recipient of all awards. Congratulations, Raiders. We want to recognize and thank Dickey's Barbecue Pit for the generous donation of $360 for the boys basketball program. Also recognizing and thanking the West Sacramento Rotary Club for a donation of $375 for the boys basketball program. And recognizing Mr. Eugene Ertel for a donation of a trombone to River City High School music program. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have a student board member report.
Thank you, Alicia. I'm going to start off with an email from Tom Torlikson. Recently, he visited our high school. If many of you don't know, he's our state superintendent. And he stated that this Tuesday I visited River City High School in West Sacramento, where I got to know some of the most enthusiastic team of teachers and staff. The school offers a number of creative classes like
Sorry, we're having technical difficulties.
It's on.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
There you go.
This school offers a number of creative classes like Russian and robotics.
Here, okay.
But I was especially impressed by the range of art classes, from dance to studio art to a new band program, all a testament to the importance of art education in our schools. Next, we would discuss the 18 River City High School students that received the community help internships through Youth Promotores. Thank you, Katie Villegas, for the opportunity. As for our music department recently had their fall concert named Light It Up. And athletics were coming to an end in our fall sports. And in division, River City girls tennis first place, River City volleyball first tied, boys soccer second place, water polo first place, River City football game at Woodland, cross country fourth place in division. And as for elementary schools, Southport is celebrating our World Peace Rose Garden Poetry Contest tomorrow, Friday at 1:50. We have 12 winners of our school poetry contest that will be reading their winning poems to the entire school, families, and community members on the outdoor stage. We also have 2 winners that will be reading their poems from the Martin Luther King Jr. World Peace Rose Garden Poetry Contest that was held in spring. Everyone is welcome to attend. 87 of our 6th grade students will enjoy next week at the science camp in Slide Park. Most students participated in fundraisers to earn money for their trip. Our after-school Spanish immersion program now has 2 sections. One is serving our 1st and 2nd grade students. The other serves our 3rd through 8th grade students. Our fabulous Southport PTO is organizing a food drive to donate food to local needy families. The food drive will run this week through November 3rd through November 7th. Any donations are appreciated. Southport would like to extend a sincere thank you to the district for getting the exterior of our school painted over the summer. Our students and families love the installation of the students' painted tiles that decorate the benches under the solar panels. Thank you for helping us keep our school looking beautiful. Stonegate. Stonegate is having an annual harvest festival this Friday, 4 to 7. And Elkhorn Mesa students will be doing the egg drop this Friday afternoon. West Sacramento Fire Department will be at the school at 2 o'clock to drop the protected eggs from their ladder. On October 30th, Elkhorn PTSA will be sponsoring the Harvest Festival from 3 to 5 p.m. And that is it for our report.
Thank you. Great report. Next would be CSEA. Is Deborah here? No? Don't see her. Washington Teachers Association report. Don Stoffer.
Good evening. It's nice to see a lot of kids here. That makes it a special atmosphere. I'm sorry that, it was such a short notice, but I'm sorry you were unable to come see Tom Torlakson the other day. It was a nice event, and Mr. Moisich was very nice to give the superintendent a tour of the district, and I think or the school, and I think everybody had a good time and a rewarding experience with this. As we start getting into the year here, I know it's still October, but it's time to start thinking about the local control funding formula and the local control accountability plan. It's on my mind because I was at a conference last weekend and it was one of the topics we discussed, and so I want to work very closely with the district to make sure the surveys and all the input from the diverse groups come together, and we're able to update the plan in a very comprehensive and inclusive way. Third, looking forward to negotiations. We will be meeting again on Monday. Things have been moving forward well so far, and I hope that will continue and we can move on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Don. Moving on to public comments, not having any at this time. Board and superintendent comments. Board member Ms. Leland? No? Ms. Villegas?
Yes, just a few. I also want to thank you, Victoria, for mentioning the Promotora program, and thanks to Stan for his help on this. We received at least 20 applications for 15 spots with the Youth Promotora program funded by the California Endowment, and Health Happens Here. And it's a great collaboration, and we received additional training funds from the Sierra Health Foundation. So those two big organizations are putting money into West Sacramento, and it's all really good. I'll update you more as the Youth Promotora program grows. We also, the Children's Alliance is having our Community Giveaway Day, our 8th annual Community Giveaway Day on November 22nd at Westfield Village Elementary School. And if you know families in the community that need help around Thanksgiving time with food and clothing and even some toys and jackets and blankets, please go to our West Sacramento Family Resource Center. And on the Yolo County School Boards Association, we had the media training done by Lori Aldretti, and I brought back notes for my fellow board members. If anybody wants more information on that, I'll be happy to share that with you, but it was a great training.
Thank you. Ms. Kirby-Gonzalez?
No committee updates, but I would like to give a shout out to the All Charities raffle. Washington Unified had a very nice showing there. And so we had many groups who were there with the All Charity raffle, bringing in a pretty good amount of money for our schools. So thank you to everybody who bought tickets, and thank you to everyone who organized the raffle for their group. I'd also like to thank all of our schools for their wonderful fall festivals. We've been having a very nice time, my daughters and I, rotating around them, and I hope Westfield had a great evening tonight with their families.
Thank you. I too am excited that our local our PTAs, our PTOs are able to put together festivals for most of our schools. So if you get a chance, I encourage you to go out and see our schools and participate in the fun festivities. Also, River City High School, they have 2 more football games. If you're not busy on Halloween, come on out. We're having a football game and the following Friday. So if you enjoy sports, come on out and see them. Superintendent?
Just wanted to reiterate there is a fall harvest festival tomorrow night at Stonegate, in fact, and it starts at 4 o'clock, and they have been very popular, so I encourage you to go out. And the egg drop has been confirmed, 2 o'clock tomorrow at Elkhorn. There was a question earlier, so.
Thank you.
Hope to see you there. Thank you.
Now, moving on to public hearings. I'd like to open up the public hearing for Empowering Possibilities International Charter EPIC petition.
As the board is aware, we received a petition from the chartering group. The petition was received in September, and this is the public hearing. This is the opportunity for the petitioners to give the board an informational presentation on the nature of their charter petition. It'll come back to the board for action at the December 11th meeting. That will be the night we'll present our staff's recommendation and request the board's action. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to read a board policy that we do have on public comments. At this time, members of the public may address the board on topics that are under the jurisdiction of the board and are not on the agenda. Although the board, by law, may not take action at this meeting. Education Code 3514535, the board may limit the total time for public input on any topic to 20 minutes unless it chooses to waive the item limit for a particular item. Individual speakers may be limited to 3 minutes to comment on any topic. Public comments consisting of individual charges, complaints, or derogatory remarks about any district employee are requested to be submitted in writing to the administration in accordance with the district's complaint procedure. And I do have some public comments. Brooke, is it Roussel? Brooke? R-O-U-S-S-E-L? If you want to pull the microphone down.
Mommy.
We need a step.
Hi, my name is Brooke, and I am in 2nd grade. I love school because it's so fun and my teacher is so nice. I want to go to EPIC because I want to be a global citizen who will be a leader in this world of ours. I love learning new languages and can't wait to go to a school with 2 world languages. Please support me and vote yes for my new school, EPIC. Go EPIC, Mommy.
Go EPIC.
Thank you, Brooke. Next, I have Masha Vorbayava, V-O-R-O-B-O-Y-V-A.
Good evening, board members. My name is Masha Vorobyova. I'm a community member and a parent hoping to enroll my 2 children into the EPIC school. My husband and I are both immigrants. We moved to this country in search for better opportunities, and we fully embraced the American culture and lifestyle. Now raising our 2 children who are born here locally, our bilingual and biliterate household operates with a strong sense of not only preserving our own culture, but also respecting and honoring other cultures surrounding us. We believe that EPIC, that is founded on the international viewpoint, will not only assist us as parents in our quest to preserve our own culture for our children, but will also expose them to diversity and help to nurture the concepts of being open-minded and reflective. By offering multiple language options as part of the routine curriculum and incorporating new and exciting points of view with EPIC's teaching platform, this school will help encourage my children to accept and also learn from other cultures as well. But diversity, culture, and multiple language exposure are not the only foundational elements we hope for our children's school to offer. We also hope for a rigorous curriculum that will challenge my children every day to be independent thinkers, risk-takers, inquirers. EPIC is exactly the school that will allow my children to develop their natural curiosities by encouraging self-accountability in the global, diverse environment. We live in the ever-changing world where nations and cultures become more and more interconnected. This multicultural interdependency demands of us that we raise future generations through the international viewpoint to help them become well-rounded global citizens, capable of communicating effectively, making independent choices, adapting to change, being respectful of unique opinions, and achieving excellence through hard work and cooperation. EPIC is exactly the school that actually uses these concepts as core principles. EPIC is the school that provides these opportunities we value in our modern society. EPIC is the place I hope for my children to learn and practice taking responsibility for their ideas and actions, working hard to achieve the results, being accountable, but yet caring and respectful. EPIC is the school that can prepare my children to compete successfully in the global arena. EPIC is more than just a school. It's an opportunity, a vision for success, for scholarly and cultural excellence. I have faith that EPIC will not remain just a concept, but will become a reality for my children to experience. And I have faith in this school's staff and leadership that they will take this opportunity and turn it into a spectacular, unique, and well-performing school. Please support my family's vision for this innovative prospect for my children. Please support my family, my children, and vote yes on EPIC. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Janie Moffitt, Angela Rice, and Dana Borges.
Hi. Thank you, members of the board, for giving us a voice here tonight. My name is Dana Bourgeois. I teach middle school math and science, and I'm here to help the dream of the EPIC Charter School to become a reality in the great city of West Sacramento. The EPIC Charter is destined to become a shining example of what an international baccalaureate academy is intended for, to ready our students the ability to achieve their dreams. Teaching students the desire to achieve is the beacon we as educators look forward to, plan for, and hope for each day. This school, the EPIC Charter, is an exciting educational plan that I want to be a part of. I want that desire to achieve for all of my students. As they pursue their goals, that desire, that's what drives me. That's what I want to celebrate each day as I look back and reflect on my teaching practices. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Angela Rice. This is my 7th year teaching kindergarten. The past 4 years, I've had the pleasure of being with Gateway Community Charter Schools. In that time, we've implemented a program called Capturing Kids' Hearts. This program will also be implemented at the EPIC School, which is why I'm thrilled at the possibility of seeking employment there next year. It provides tools for staff to build positive, productive, and trusting relationships among themselves and with their students. I've experienced firsthand how these tools can transform the classroom and campus environment for the better, paving the way for high academic performance, which is EPIC's ultimate goal as an aspiring IB school. Great learning and success can only be achieved in classrooms where trust and respect enable free, active participation, where discipline problems are not allowed to subvert the teaching and learning taking place. These strategies allow teachers to connect with students as partners in their learning rather than as authoritarians, which aligns well with the IB program. I look forward to seeing this program become the intentional culture of yet another school. Please support EPIC by voting yes on December 11th. Thank you for your time.
Hi, my name is Janie Moffitt, and this is my 8th year of teaching and my 4th year teaching for Gateway Community Charter Schools. It is here that I have been able to use guided language acquisition design, also known as Project GLAD. Because of EPIC Charter School will be an international baccalaureate school, I can speak to the value and effectiveness GLAD will have at this new charter. Project GLAD is an instructional model that allows teachers to differentiate instruction for all students with grade-level content. Its goal is to ensure that all students will read and write grade-level text and have access to all academic content. This is what international baccalaureate schools strive for, the learner making inquiries and learning from their own questions and experience. As a parent of a student this year and a teacher, I have chosen to bring my child to a Gateway Charter School, mainly because I know this school is using GLAD strategies to meet her needs and allow her to participate in her learning objectives. As an educator and parent, I am encouraging you to strongly consider passing this charter so that EPIC can meet the needs of the students in the area. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Next, I have Laura Kerr. Laura Kerr.
Good evening, Superintendent and Trustees. My name is Laura Kerr. I'm a Managing Regional Director with the California Charter Schools Association. We're a statewide nonprofit membership-based advocacy organization that supports the high-quality charter schools movement in California. It's really my pleasure to be here to speak on behalf of Gateway Community Charter's EPIC charter petition. GCC has an amazing, solid, proven track record of both academic performance and operational stability and success. They have a great leadership team. And this charter is a little bit different. It's a replication of an existing charter. So unlike some petitions that come to you with a plan and a dream, you can actually go to San Juan Unified and see Gateway International School, which is the same educational program as what they're proposing here tonight, but actually in its first or second year of operation. You'll hear from the principal, Joy Tukoi, who I have the pleasure of working with in San Juan. I really encourage you to go out and visit the school, see for yourself what's going on with kids. I think that you'll be really inspired and excited to have them as part of your portfolio here in Washington Unified. So thank you, and please vote for EPIC.
Thank you. And lastly, but not certainly least, Mr. Michael Lochtef.
Good evening, friends. I want to go off Victoria. What Victoria said was that you are having some harvest celebrations. It's great to have harvest celebrations. However, before harvest, there's sowing the seeds in order to produce the harvest. And I must say that all of us here, parents, school personnel, board, all of us are involved in sowing seeds, really, into the minds and hearts of children, all of the children of the school district, so that they become very fruitful citizens. This always happens to me. I have to just recall when I came here 64 years ago to West Sacramento. America was in confrontation with Russia. I came from China as a refugee, and we were practicing how to hide from the Russians. And the kids knew that I was Russian. And that did create some challenges. However, it was wonderful because some Mexican girls kind of adopted me. And it was fantastic. Then I already knew that this was going to be a community where I want to spend my life. And I did, and I'm glad of it. The compassion that some of the kids showed for me as a foreigner still stays in me. And this is one of the qualities in this time that we need in our citizenry. Compassion, and of course, friendship. A teacher that I will always remember, Mrs. Wingert. She was the nice teacher. I came there, and I started scribbling. And she noticed that, and she says, "You have some talent. You can start drawing more. Would you like to draw me?" And here I was, a 12-year-old kid. Anyway, she took me personally to Crocker Art Gallery. Can you imagine the impact that had on a child out of a foreign country? And I to this day, I wonder at that compassion, that involvement, that sowing of the seed into this young child's heart and mind. I've stayed here. I've been a teacher here, a student here at Bright Elementary, but you're going to be gearing up for something else. And all my children went to school here. They're all adults, and now my grandchildren are going to school here. It's wonderful to be part of this presentation, and I think that I've gone over my time, but that's how it happens. When the community and at large and the teachers, the district, come together on something, a project in the sowing process, I know we will reap a great harvest in the future. I see that, I remember from last year's presentation, we had a wonderful presentation here, VAPA. It was mentioned and the board, and it was great because this is something I'm involved with as a former artist, English teacher. Communication through arts and music is something that goes across all border lines. And I would appreciate you encouraging and blessing this project for this district. Thank you.
Thank you. Not having any further public comments, I will close the public hearing at this time.
Ms. Cruz, actually, we do allow 10 minutes for the petitioners to give a presentation on their program.
Oh, okay.
So they would be coming up at this time.
Okay. Thank you.
And in the words of my favorite airline pilot, I'm going to make up some time in the air tonight, so don't worry about that. Good evening, members of the Board of Education, Superintendent Dr. Gillian. My name is Jason Sample. I'm the Director of Community Engagement and Development for Gateway Community Charters. Please allow me to take just a quick moment and introduce members of our team who are here. First, we have our Superintendent CEO, Dr. Cindy Peterson, who just handed you a packet of information. We have our Assistant Superintendent, Michael Gillespie. We have our CBO, Aaron Thornsberry. We have our Director of Academics and Personnel, Dr. Jerry Kosh, as well as members of our Board of Directors, Mrs. Lily Campbell, Mr. Harry Block, and Mr. Jack Turner. So once again, we are excited tonight to have just this opportunity, really on behalf of the parents, members, students here in West Sacramento, to present to you the educational program for Empowering Possibilities International Charter. Here we go. At Gateway Community Charter, we truly believe that all children can learn, and therefore we create an opportunity through quality schools of choice that serve the educational needs of vulnerable, unserved, disenfranchised, culturally diverse, economically disadvantaged students. This is our heart, this is our passion, and we know that we share that with you. A little bit about Gateway Community Charters. We are a local 501c3 charter management organization with over 11 years of experience providing quality schools in collaborations with local school districts, such as San Juan Unified School District, Twin Rivers Unified. Successfully, we manage and operate 6 charters with 17 sites in the greater Sacramento region, with 1 non-classroom-based resource center located here in West Sacramento. 5 of our 6 charter schools, we are happy and proud to say, are WASC accredited, with our newest school, Gateway International, currently in the process. At GCC, we have over 400 employees serving approximately 4,200 students with an annual budget of over $50 million. Also, we really just love to point this out, that we are fiscally strong, with reserves well above the 3% minimum, as well as we have successfully and currently implementing and operating an charter IB candidate school, Gateway International, which is in its 2nd year of operation. We have a board of directors that has over 30 years of experience in the areas of education, business, as well as nonprofit management. Our superintendent CEO, Dr. Peterson, has over 25 years, of experience in education and charter management. Our cabinet has over 50 years of combined experience in the areas of education, nonprofit management, and business. And in addition, we also have a community business advisory council with representatives from the Slavic American Chamber of Commerce, Los Rios Community College District, Sacramento State, as well as First Five. So again, we're very excited to really share a little bit with you of the educational program and this wonderful opportunity that we're hoping that we will partner together. With that being said, I would like to take this moment to introduce Mrs. Tula Younger, who is currently our Charter Development Administrator and hopefully will be the prospective principal of Empowering Possibilities Charter, if approved. Mrs. Younger?
Good evening, Superintendent Gilliland and Board of Trustees. Thank you so much for having us tonight. You may be asking why we chose West Sacramento to bring this charter petition. We believe that an IB international education will enrich this culturally diverse community with yet another innovative program, much like the ones that you offer as Washington Unified. This IB program will further the offerings of quality educational programs to serve the students of West Sacramento. As principal, it will be my job to lead the teachers, parents, and students to living the mission and vision you see above. In this ever-changing global community, we want to prepare our students to be reflective citizens through an international education, becoming leaders in this world. Research shows that international baccalaureate students have higher achievement rates than their peers on international assessments. It also shows that IB students feel more prepared for college. IB is going to be who we are. Students will be responsible for their learning through inquiry-based research and teacher guidance and supports through the lens of the 6 transdisciplinary themes, such as where we are in place and time and how we organize ourselves. Students will be exposed to the learner profiles, and teachers will focus on its 10 attributes regularly. We will begin implementation with the primary years program, the PYP, and continue implementation with the middle years program, the MYP. I'd like to share this brief program overview video with you, if technology is with us tonight.
International Baccalaureate means learning for life, means where learning makes sense.
A type of education that is going to create global citizens, children, that as they become adults, we're going to take leading roles in the way that the world will go forward.
The primary years program is very special in that it's inquiry-based, and inquiry-based means allowing the learner to actually want to learn. The learner becomes responsible for his or her own learning. So it's not what the teacher wants me to do, it's not what my parents want me to do, it's what I want to do.
The learner profile is a set of attributes based on values that connect the primary years program and the middle years program and the diploma program around the world.
For example, being thinkers and inquirers, risk takers, communicators, caring, reflective. All of these are aspects of the learner profile.
Thank you. As I stated, IB will be who we are, and Project GLAD strategies will be what to help us implement it. Project GLAD has been recognized as a project of academic excellence by the U.S. Department of Education. It has also received the Title I Achieving Schools Awards and been recognized as a school reform design model. All of our units will be driven by the Common Core state standards and taught using GLAD strategies, such as teaching to the highest standards. Students will use academic language and taught through the most complex concepts in all units. Teachers will model through metacognition. Students will be taught how and encouraged to organize thoughts and texts using their multiple intelligences so that they process and can express how an answer was arrived at, not merely if it was correct or not. Students will be active participants in all units of study, constantly negotiating for meaning and exploring ideas with their peers. It's now my honor to introduce Mrs. Joy Takoy, a current Gateway Community Charters principal implementing an IB program.
Good evening, Superintendent and Board of Trustees. As principal of an IB candidate school, I've had the privilege to attend multiple IB trainings, both in person and online, for teachers and administrators. I've worked directly with IB presenters and staff at the IB America's office in Bethesda, Maryland, and with our own consultant. I've also visited 5 other IB World schools and collaborated with their program coordinators. The implementation timeline that EPIC is proposing is similar to the one I'm currently implementing at my school. It's an aggressive approach that could be referred to as the fast track for verification. EPIC will begin implementing the primary year's program components in year 1 while they write their program of inquiry. They will teach the 6 units of inquiry in years 2 and 3 with a verification visit in the spring of year 3. For the middle years program, they will also implement IB components beginning year 1, then start their teacher training with unit implementation in years 4 and 5. EPIC will have an IB coordinator and strong administrative support to help see them through this process. With this support, coupled with teacher buy-in, I'm confident that EPIC's timeline for IB will be successful.
Thank you, Mrs. Takoy. As we get ready to make our final approach and land this plane here, we would like to just share with you finally a few efforts that we have done in terms of community and student recruitment. To date, we have actively been reaching out to the residents of West Sacramento and Yolo County, as evidenced by over 300 student and parent interest forms in terms of an IB program and opportunity. Also, just briefly, I would like to just ask anyone who is here tonight in support of EPIC to please stand. In conclusion, our school's mission and goals directly align with your missions and goals, especially the one fostering a culture of high expectations. We are honored as well as humbled to have this opportunity tonight to partner and to work collaboratively with you. And in your folders, you will find our contact information if you have further questions or need additional information. Again, thank you tonight for your thoughtful consideration. Thank you for this opportunity. And we are honored again and looking forward to working with you because together we make a difference. Thank you tonight.
Thank you.
Ms. Cruz, members of the board, I want to apologize first off for the duration or the length of that presentation. That was not what we had discussed, and I was surprised by this. And frankly, I need to talk to Mr. Tran and make sure that he's comfortable with his presentation this evening. He, in fact, has a flight to catch, and the last flight was, in fact, delayed. So, Mr. Tran, are you okay with the presentation this evening? Should we proceed, or do you want to make arrangements for another time? Your flight was 8:20, I believe. Is that? You're comfortable staying over?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to check before we proceed with our public hearings. Thank you.
Okay. No further on the Empowering Possibilities International Charter EPIC petition, so I will close the public hearing on that. I will open the public hearing on the proposed solar power phase 3 project. Having no public comments and no presentation this evening, I will close the public hearing on that matter. I will give just a moment for the room to clear. You're more than welcome to stay. I thank you all for coming.
Never seen such well-behaved kids. Just saying.
I'll go ahead with item number N, letter number N, information discussion items. Bright Career Technology Education Campus, Facility Program Update number 1.
This is Mr. Mel Tran from SVA Architects. We're very pleased that you can be with us this evening. We're excited about the Bright project. We're making headway rapidly, and I thought it would be a good time for the board to be apprised of where we are as we move forward. Mel, thank you.
As Superintendent Gillian mentioned, my name is Mel Tran. I'm an associate partner at SVA Architects. And we're very excited to be working with the district on this project. We're probably going to start the presentation here. What's interesting about this project is the fact that it's actually the first phase of probably maybe 3 phases for the Bright campus. The conversion of the phase 1 is actually the modernization of a classroom wing, multi-purpose room and kitchen into a culinary arts facility to support the career tech education for the high school students. One of the things that we dove into was actually, if we look at the next slide, is that part of the program is being supported by the curriculum. That's one of the things that sort of became our sort of blueprint for how we would sort of look at how this facility could support the curriculum and the proposed courses that would be provided at the campus. To give you an overview, I have a diagram that shows you the scope of work that will be implemented at the campus for this phase 1. You'll notice the area highlighted in yellow, that represents 3 components: the parking lot area, the multi-purpose room kitchen, and one of the classroom wings. Oh, should I go ahead? As part of the site work, one of the things that we did notice was that part of the site work identified the problem areas with the parking lot, which will require improving the drainage, as well as removing the asphalt, improving the sewage lines, as well as restriping the parking lot and creating a new trash enclosure for the support the culinary arts program. The classroom wing, the 4 classrooms identified here in this picture here, will be converted to a culinary arts lab. This involves the complete modernization of the building, which includes new finishes for both the floors, the ceilings, as well as new ventilation equipment for the cooking equipment, as well as new air conditioning for the classroom wing. The exterior of that wing also needs a bit of refinishing too. The exterior materials will be replaced with new materials. Many of those windows will actually be removed and be replaced with solid walls because of the amount of equipment that will be located within this classroom wing. The restrooms at the end of the wing will also be fully modernized. All the finishes will be replaced, as well as the fixtures to meet current code requirements. And the multi-purpose room kitchen. All the interior finishes will be removed, as well as the non-bearing load walls, as well as any other equipment to make room for the new kitchen. And for the multi-purpose room, the same thing, the finishes will be replaced, as well as all the athletic equipment will be removed off the walls. There'll be new glazing, new curtains. There'll be new a kitchen that will actually be provided in this space as well. And you'll see that a little bit further in the program. So this is what the current floor plan looks like of the existing conditions. As you can see, we have 4 classrooms along with restrooms in one wing, and then we have the multi-purpose space along with the existing cafeteria kitchen. One of the things that we did do with our partnering group with the district staff and faculty was to really identify how the curriculum can be supported by the facility. So we sort of organized and identified the instructional areas that would be implemented within this floor plan. Through those partnering sessions, we identified several areas. Within the classroom wing, we identified a baking station. We identified the need for an instructional space. We also have a cooking and grilling section, as well as a support area that has all the cleaning and storage functions. And within the central kitchen, or the kitchen, or the multi-purpose room, that will actually be a commercial-style kitchen, so that students that are going through the program, as they're learning through each of the stations, will actually be sort of tested through the simulation in the commercial kitchen to actually take what they've learned and implement it within a real environment that will provide them sort of the real life skills that they can take out to the world. The multipurpose room will act as a simulation area where dining and hospitality experiences can be conducted as part of that. Now, the next step was to take a look at the equipment that would be proposed for this to support the curriculum. We met with several of the staff and faculty to understand really how this would be implemented with our design team. And so this was sort of the first pass of how we implemented the equipment and how the spaces will work. The classroom wing is actually one large contiguous space that would allow all the equipment to be placed in one single room with great visibility. And then the students would move through the different stations as they went through the coursework. The baking station has everything related to that sort of task, along with prep space. That's the first location on the classroom wing. The next area is an instructional area where coursework will be provided. A demonstration desk will be also have video cameras that will record and actually display the activities demonstrated at the desk on large 16-inch display monitors above the desk so that students sitting at those stations can witness what's going on as well as participate. And then we have a grilling and cooking section which have several stations for students to prepare their meals, cook them, as well as the storage equipment for reach-in refrigerators and freezers. And then, of course, we've got the cleaning area where the warewashing equipment as well as the storage for pots and pans and dry storage to support the lab. And of course, as we mentioned, the restrooms will be completely modernized as part of that as well. And this is kind of a conceptual view from our virtual model of really what that space would look like. It's kind of a glimpse as to how that area will work. We're sort of looking at the instructional area. You can see the two display monitors and the demonstration desk. So this gives you the flavor of how those classroom space will be actually sort of rehabilitated to create this new environment. In the multipurpose room and kitchen, part of the restrictions that we have is that we can't really move any of the bearing walls that are in there. So part of our approach was really to look at where the existing kitchen is now and actually create more of a storage area and actually create the cooking area in part of the actual multipurpose room. So that allows really a true commercial kitchen environment to occur. Along with that, we have a beverage station and actually a simulated bar service to kind of give students the full realm of all the experience that they would have out in the real world. In the multipurpose room, one of the things that we also are introducing as part of this scope is actually a new entry that will allow visitors and guests to come directly out the parking lot within the multipurpose room as well. So the hope is and the vision is to really to use this space as simulations to replicate either plate service, buffet service, various types of activities to support future district activities as well. With the introduction of a new entry, we were asked to sort of provide kind of a new look that would help identify the new entry as well as the new image for the campus. So this exercise is really just a study to sort of create the dialogue over some identity for the campus as well as some naming opportunities as well. But it's really just the start of that. And so right now we're actually in a schematic design. So there's still more to come. So you'll probably see updates as the project progresses. Thank you. Any questions?
Anyone, do you have any questions? Anyone on the board? Mary?
Thank you for your presentation. It's nice to see something visual. We've been talking about culinary arts for quite a while, and so nice to see that staff and with your expertise has moved ahead. My only comment is, again, just exploring the name of the program and how much that would change design or curriculum in adding hospitality management. And so that we would really be able to articulate with some of the both community college programs and the university programs that are in the same field. So I don't know if we've totally explored that, but that would be kind of a very broad question that I would have. as far as the plans, can I just finish? And I know Bill's ready to answer that one. Is there any plan in the space to put an area for a garden so that students would have, and maybe you talked about that, but where students would have an opportunity to grow their own herbs and, you know, as we talk about farm to fork, just having their own experience. I know a lot of, you know, our restaurants have their own gardens, and so that would be my only comment as far as the actual architectural plans and looking at what you've done so far. And then I guess Bill can speak to the curriculum.
Okay.
Actually, that's a perfect segue. We have some plans to bring some information forward to the board at the very next meeting. We're doing some work with Mary Kimball at the Center for Land-Based Learning. And, you know, I don't want to give away too much of the excitement, but looking at kind of the model that they've established here locally at the 5th and C location for how we might grow local produce to source these kitchens. And we also are doing some work on a grant application for basically a startup planning grant for the same kind of thing. So we are really looking at broadening this, that it really would have more of a farm to fork flavor, and that there would also be the opportunity for entrepreneurial exploits and hospitality. So those are all in the works. I think that what Mel brings forward today is really more kind of the structure and the architecture and what those specific rooms and wings would look like. But as far as the program structure, that's still under development, and it is bigger than just culinary.
I certainly like what I see so far, and anxious to go to the next level. So thank you so much.
Great. Thank you.
Ms. Villegas? I'm just wondering when it's going to be open to the public so we can have a restaurant over at Bright. Yeah. And hopefully that will be the case so the students can get real life experience in the cafeteria area. So I'm excited, totally excited. Good job. Ms. Kirby-Gonzalez?
Thank you for staying and for your presentation, and very exciting. I echo the same for my board. But I wondered if when we look at the possible, when we talk about going forward with the bond passes, and we talked about the career technical facility there, is this, we still have plans for the other wings, correct? This is one piece of that. I'm just making sure I'm clear.
That's correct. This is what we're going forward with kind of existing funding. And, you know, if the bond were to pass and there's an item that the board has selected for a wider renovation of the facility, that would include the other programs and the other wings at the school.
Thank you. And then my only other comment would be, we looked at having Plan A's, Plan B's, and having a parking lot possibly be like a Plan B on this list, since we had talked about moving parking lots in other areas to a Plan B. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Tran, for staying. I appreciate it. But before you go, I would like you to come and check out my kitchen, too, so you can design my kitchen, too. I attended a culinary school myself, and I think this model is just very outstanding. And I, too, am very excited, and can't wait for it to open. So thank you. I hope you can catch your plane. Don't speed. Don't get a ticket. Letter N to the presentation of the Proposition 39 Strategic Energy Plan.
Yes, thank you. We have a PowerPoint queued up. Great, I'm Russell Driver. I'm with ARC Alternatives. We're an energy consulting and engineering firm. And I'm here to give you an overview of our strategic energy plan that we developed on behalf of the district as part of the Prop 39 exercise. It really sets the stage for Prop 39. So tonight I'll go through a little bit of background and go through just at a high level what's in the plan and set things up for your next meeting, where we're going to come back as an approval item once we get your feedback and more feedback from staff. So our strategic energy plan, what is it? Why are we doing this? It's intended to be a high-level strategy document that helps you and the staff understand district spending and use of energy, both in the past and currently, and to uncover opportunities for energy projects on a pretty wide basis, and then coordinate among all of the different initiatives that you have going that impact energy use at the district. You're going to be considering solar tonight. You have older solar programs. You have a contract for behavioral modification program for energy savings with Synergistic. The CIP, of course, affects facilities and facility construction, which has impacts on energy as well. And so we're wrapping all that up and trying to get a handle on how all these initiatives come together and where the energy savings opportunities are in order to transition into a more specific expenditure plan for the Prop 39 allocations that are coming to the district. Just a word or two about Prop 39. This slide has more information than I'll cover. This past fiscal year, the district received almost $500,000 in Prop 39 funding. We estimate that over the 5-year life of the program, the district will receive about $1.6 million. That does assume that the annual allocations going forward are a little less than what you received this year, and that's what we're hearing out of Sacramento, that it's going to be 75–80% of that first-year allocation. As you know, the funding is to be used just for energy projects. The guidelines, probably the most important thing to understand about the way we're constructing the program, is that the projects identified in the plan need to meet a savings to investment ratio. So all that means is for the life of whatever project we're putting in place, the savings, the dollar value of the savings, has to be greater than the costs by a 1.05 kind of ratio. And so that's the major analytical box we're in when we're selecting projects and trying to figure out how that works. The funds are allocated to the district essentially based on attendance, with some modification based on the number of students who are participating in the free and reduced school lunch program. And those allocations will come every year, and you can spend those on projects that are in an approved plan. Okay, so the first thing we did in our analysis was look at benchmarking utility use, energy use at the district, and what we found is that electricity, as you might expect, makes up most of the energy use and even more of the energy expenditure at the district versus gas. The graph we have in front of you shows the overall energy use by facility, and again, not surprisingly, River City High School is using most of the energy. It's a much more intense usage, bigger student population. In the more detailed report, which I'm not showing you slides from tonight, if you look at those comparisons on a per square foot basis, so you get a sense, you sort of correct for different sizes of facilities, the district is using less than the California state average. So you're doing well. You've done some good energy reducing programs in the past, and we're just going to be able to build on those earlier successes going forward. We also wanted to take a look at the impact of the solar investments the districts have made in the past and going forward that you're contemplating, because they're significant. And there's more good news here, and our analysis shows, compared to what you were spending and using prior to the solar systems, a reduction of about 67% of your electricity use, which is results in an 83% reduction in utility bills. These figures include the proposed Phase 3 program that you're going to be considering later tonight, and also results in about a 50% reduction in carbon emissions. So that's very strong work, and I think that's something to be proud of for the district. So we went through, after we benchmarked all the facilities using utility data, and went and identified a number of projects. We identified about $9 million in projects. They were by and large mechanical systems and upgrades to your energy management system, or EMS. There were also a small number of lighting projects identified, interior and exterior, some of which are being incorporated into the Optera scope of work, and some other ancillary programs. So that was a result of site audits and other work, and we went back and calculated all the costs and savings associated with that. So then we reduced or limited that project set to the expected budget of $1.6 million, and this slide shows where we end up in our proposed program. It's really focused on dovetailing into the capital improvement program, which is why there's a heavy emphasis on what we call mechanical projects, which are your HVAC systems, so package units and heat pumps and a lot of that sort of stuff. There is one envelope project, solar tubes proposed for Riverbank, and I'll get into the implementation on that in just a minute. Some key facts about the program we've identified that we're proposing. It does leverage about $36,000 in utility incentives. The simple payback calculated for the program is about 15.5 years. And that's because most of these measures have very long lives as mechanical equipment, and the savings to investment ratio is 1.14, which is over the standard that we're looking to achieve. We also included an implementation plan, and I want to conclude with this area of our plan, and it really is a starting point for right now. You're well aware that there are a lot of moving pieces right now in terms of potential facilities construction projects and the like, and so we just set forth a plan that was internally consistent within the Prop 39 funding as a starting point. So it takes 5 years to implement, it's cash flow neutral, but there are many, many opportunities to bring those projects forward if you have other funds that you can use if the bond passes and reimburse yourselves from Prop 39, and certainly to coordinate the construction across other things that are going to be going on in the district. So this is very, very preliminary. And what it does is it breaks the program into essentially 4 discrete bid packages to get the work done that cover a number of years, focused on the summer just as a starting point for the discussion and to get the numbers aligned with them. This shows that it is cash flow neutral across the district and the charter over a 5-year period, and that's it. So thank you very much for your time. I'm here to answer any questions or take any input if you have it.
Are there any questions from the board, Ms. Villegas?
No, thank you.
Ms. Lynn? No. Ms. Kirby-Gonzalez?
Just to clarify, I think I heard you say it, but on page 6, so that's the graph, you said that energy usage includes the phase 3 that we're looking at tonight?
Yes, we
so
did
it's not where we currently are right now?
Right,
okay.
right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I apologize, I do have a blue slip. Mr. Don Stoffer?
Hello again. Yeah, I too noticed the large bar next to River City High School in terms of energy usage. I just had a couple of questions on that. Is the square foot usage at River City comparable to that of square foot usage elsewhere in the district? Did any of the energy studies look at the fact that resistance heating is used both at the for space heating and for water heating at the high school? And I know those would be expensive items to change, but potentially big savings as well, since gas is a lot cheaper per unit of energy. And solar tubes, I'm assuming that is a lighting feature. And I'm just a question, I'm presuming that if that were to occur, it would work in conjunction with whatever roofing project we're going on and with the roofing consultants. Great. Thank you.
Just in response to the first question about the per square foot utilization, I don't have that chart in front of me, but I think out with the board packet went our full report, and it's broken down that way, and you can see it. I don't remember the utilization at River City being particularly high compared to the others, so I think you'll see a bar that's much closer, but I'm not 100% sure.
Any more questions from the board? Thank you so much. Moving on to item number 3, Common Core Committee updates.
Hello. My name is Melissa Oliver. I'm a teacher on special assignment, and on behalf of the Common Core Task Force behind us, we are excited to give you some updates on some of the work that we have been doing. As you may recall, we were last year in March, and we talked about our expenditure plan in 3 areas: professional development, instructional materials, as well as technology, and we're going to present our subcommittees are going to present the same way tonight, and this is very much a work in progress. And this slide is just for informational purposes. We did have some changes in terms of our membership. We added some additional members just really to ensure that we had equity of voice throughout the district and within subject areas. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to our professional development co-chairs.
My name is Eric Forstman. I'm the assistant principal at Stonegate.
My name is Rita Pope, and I'm the English learner teacher on special assignment this year. We are the co-chairs for the professional development subcommittee. And your first slide here is of the Common Core Task Force at work. So this does show us in our professional learning environment, and our focus this year is really on continuing to make recommendations and monitoring the plan that the board approved last year.
All right, so to start with last spring, one of the primary focuses of the professional development was with leadership. We have cultivating leadership teams. So there were 85 English language arts and 67 math leads. They worked in excess last spring of 500 teacher days to accomplish 3 separate things. The first was they were trying to learn techniques specifically to teach Common Core state standards in the classroom, and they later served as trainers to the rest of the teachers in Washington Unified. They also worked to develop a scope and sequence for English language arts and math, the new standards, at most of the grade levels. Finally, they created a web-based resource which allowed easier access to lessons centered on Common Core state standards that teachers across the district could get to. So what you see up there are some screenshots of examples of 4th grade math resources. On the left-hand side, there's an example of some of the lessons that would be available to teachers. They can click on the lesson and get the complete lesson. Underneath that, some additional resources that they can use to supplement their teaching style or maybe to differentiate their classroom. On the right-hand side at the bottom, you see the scope and sequence talking about which standards are going to be covered and along what order. So it wasn't just the lead teachers. There was also training that were offered for all teachers. They were allowed to collaborate with each other based on their grade level and their content areas. The Common Core instructional methods that were taught to the district lead teachers was one of the focus, as well as using outside agencies such as SCOE, the Sacramento County Office of Education, and UC Davis. They were also able to collaborate with their peers at their site using the district-created resources, the websites, to plan lessons that they'd be presenting to their students.
So the other training opportunities include those that Eric didn't explain, and basically this would include teacher-to-teacher training and regional conferences and workshops. So for example, 22 teachers were accepted by application to go to various summer trainings based on choice and their Common Core needs. In addition, we have done after-school trainings by teachers from Washington Unified School District on their specialties, so they're able to teach other teachers their expertise. And other outside agencies have also helped in this area. So for this year, we are going to continue for 2014-15, and we are surveying teacher needs to make sure that our professional development is effective, the most effective it can be. Some of the highlights from this year will include a next level math and English language arts leadership team model. So the model that Eric just described, but at this stage they're in now. So collaborating perhaps on benchmarks to meet the SBAC at the end of the year, whatever needs they have for their grade level. The 6th through 12th grade literacy and science, history, PE, and technical subject is another focus to ensure that all content area teachers get Common Core training, time, and PD. Next generation science standards and English language development standards are also going to be infused this year as they align directly with Common Core, and we need to make sure teachers are prepared. And other includes other educators in our district that aren't certificated but also work with students, so they need Common Core training, such as paraeducators.
Hi, I'm Alan Franz. I'm a math teacher at River City High School. I'm one of the co-chairs for the Instructional Materials Committee. And we also have Erica Leon, who's one of our members who's here in support as well in the audience. So in English language arts, we purchased extended reading materials, and a portion of those have already been distributed to the sites. And we're working right now to sort through the rest of them and get them distributed to the correct sites. And we are also at the same time using some of the high school students, and they're getting service learning hours by helping us with that. So that's a good opportunity for them to get some hours in for helping out with that. Yeah, as for the math, we have printed and distributed the first half of this year's materials to all of the sites, and we have surveyed all of the teachers that are using it to see how things are going, how often they're using it, what they might like differently for going forward. And we're right now printing out the rest of this year's material to distribute that to them and utilize for the rest of this year. And the other portion that we have with the math is, as the assessments are worked on in the math leadership groups, as they come up with common assessments that they would like to use, we're going to help them by printing and distributing those for them to use at all the sites as well.
Hi, my name is Peter Folks, and I'm a third grade teacher at Bridgeway Island Elementary School. This is Kim Harrison, and we are the co-chairs of the Technology Task Force, the subcommittee. We have selected 43 teachers to participate in the Innovative Educator Program. Teachers were selected who showed a clear vision for providing technology for their students, and also how they would collaborate and support their peers. The applications were reviewed and scored blindly, but we did want to make sure that we had equitable distribution across the district, and we wanted to make sure we had distribution across grade levels and subject areas as well. Innovative Educator Program is up and running. The members are currently reading Who Owns the Learning by Alan November, and they are engaged in online discussion using a tool called Schoology, which is a communication and collaboration tool. They're also working on a collaborative presentation using Google presentation templates. Pending board approval, we are planning to purchase 700 devices and carts. There were 3 different types that teachers have available to them, and they pretty much chose what they wanted based on their needs. They're all touchscreen devices. We have a Windows 8 laptop, a Chromebook, and a Windows tablet with a docking station, and you'll be hearing more about that in a little bit. The innovative educators are expected to participate in professional development that is supporting them in integrating technology in a one-to-one environment. There are also trainings available to all the staff members, and those are geared towards helping teachers integrate technology as well as supporting the technology components of the Common Core standards. And
I'm Lynette Campbell, Director of Curriculum Instruction and Professional Learning, and it is my privilege to work with this task force comprised of 15 stellar educators and a handful of administrators. And part of what they do constantly is come back to the standards, because this task force in itself is a component of professional development for each one of these teachers. One of their charges is to monitor the implementation, and I wanted to make sure I brought out 3 types of monitoring that are happening across the district. The first one has to do with report cards. Grades 1 through 5 now have report cards that align 100% to the Common Core state standards, and the indicators of progress align to what we anticipate will be the reporting levels of the Smarter Balanced assessment in the spring. We also will be using, starting in January when they're released, the Smarter Balanced interim assessments. And the teacher feedback so far has been one of great joy that they'll actually get an opportunity to become more familiar with assessment, how it looks for Smarter Balanced and for Common Core. And the Common Core Task Force itself has selected 2 indicator standards, we're calling them, and developing a plan for how to collect multiple measures throughout the district to truly monitor sort of the saturation of implementation as we go forward. And we're open for questions if you have any.
Any questions from the board?
I just have to comment. I can't even begin to tell you how thankful I am that you've just created such a robust team to do this work. I know this is a huge change for all of our teachers, and to have teachers step up and volunteer, submit applications to become these master teachers is just really affirming to me about why I love this district. And we know the professional development is very important. So it's a change. You've got a great team, and I like the way you ended it, Ms. Campbell, that you have metrics that kind of show as you go along and implement where we're at. And I think that's a really nice package. And so I just want to commend you for the work and for being here tonight on a school night. So.
Thank you for this. I appreciate you too. And I know this is a lot of work and a labor of love. And so thank you for all of the hard work that you're doing. I have 2 quick questions. One, you talk about instructional materials in here and you have a picture of Scholastic. And is that because you're only using that company, or is that just one? Okay, good. Okay, thank you.
We have canvassed the world finding the right books that the teachers requested. And yes, that was just a nice little clip.
Perfect. Okay, just clarifying. And then the plan for what I'd like to see, not necessarily now, but the plan for writing. I didn't see writing in here very much. So what is, I know it falls into ELA, but what is that plan going to look like, the vision for long term and making sure that we have some really strong writing? I know there's been step up, but maybe there's something as well, and that's a supplement.
I'm glad you brought that up. What we do know is it will be authentic integrated writing. It will not be a standalone siloed event. We know that for sure, but we're working on what that will look like.
Perfect. And while you're at it later, the multiple measures I'm just really interested in, not at this time, but as you're working to develop that, really hearing about what that looks like when I step into a classroom, what that looks like and feels like and how you're measuring it versus Smarter Balance is one that personally as a board member I'm not interested in hearing about as much. So the multiple measures will be the one that I'll care about. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I too thank you very much. It's exciting to see teachers from all over the district, different schools, different levels participating and educating each other. The one thing that I was very impressed with at the high school is going to my son's math class and not a single kid sitting at a desk. They're all up at the boards. They're all participating. So it's very exciting, a different math concept. I do have a question, and this might be for Bill. I'm not really sure. While we have the Common Core Task Force, do we have a task force for parents?
Not at the moment, but we are working on plans for, we're calling it Parent University, that there would be opportunities for parents to learn alongside with their students, and our new coordinator of community outreach, Katie Niemer, is working on those plans.
Okay, because I will, what's surfacing now, because Common Core is coming about, and many parents and teachers, a lot of parents aren't understanding the homework coming home with the kids, so they want to know when they can learn. So that was a concern of mine when Common Core came around, that while we need the great teachers, we have teachers at home that we can't help our kids if we don't know. So I just want to make sure that doesn't get dropped by the wayside. But thank you very much, and thank you for staying late. Thank you. Item number 4, the wireless network installation update.
Good evening, Vice President Cruz, members of the board, Dr. Gilliland. We'll make this relatively brief. We mostly wanted to bring you an update on where we are with our wireless implementation, which was a big project that the district and the board had undertaken, recognizing that in our world today, wireless is really kind of our air. It's what we breathe. And when you're using any kind of devices in the classroom, they're really worthless if they're not able to connect to wireless and connect to the outside world. So it was a big investment and a big initiative, and I'm very happy to report that it's right on time. And I've given you some information that I'll talk about in a second about kind of where we are on it. And we're also going to sneak in some other information to you on some of our other technology initiatives to tell you where those are. But I wanted to kind of go back for a quick review that Kim can provide, probably much better than any of us. But Kim was a real driving force in creating the tech plan that the board approved on May 22nd, 2014. Did I get lost? Maybe they turned it down. A lot of times, people don't always go through the 80-page plan, but we want you to get a notion of what that vision is, because it's quite an impressive vision, and it really is all about what students and teachers will be able to do. It's not getting the technological tools for the sake of getting the technological tools, but it's so that our students will be able to collaborate and produce in various kind of media and collaborate with their teachers. But these tools that make these happen are high-tech, very different than what we've used before, and require a great deal of support and some cost, and you'll see that tonight too as well.
I put together this infographic to kind of highlight the different components of what we're calling our vision for technology based upon the goals of the technology plan. We have our Wi-Fi project, our wireless implementation that we're here to share with you tonight. And as Bill mentioned, it has been started, which I'm very excited about, and it is right on schedule. And so that's kind of the order of the implementation that our team came up with in terms of how we'll progress through bringing wireless district-wide. Peter alluded to the different devices that we have selected. We have 3 Windows-based devices. The 2 at the bottom, the ThinkPad Yoga convertible laptop and the teacher laptop, are the same device, but there's a teacher model and a student model. And then we also have a ThinkPad tablet that detaches from a keyboard, as well as a Chromebook. All of them, as Peter mentioned, are touchscreen, which is really kind of neat to have. We also have we're also working on our cloud computing solution, which is the 3rd icon, where our students will be able to use what we have, DTAC has considered and recommended and advised us to go forward with the Google Apps for Education, as well as the Schoology Learning Management System, which we're using right now, the free version, which is a full functioning version. We have a number of teachers using it for professional development. Our principals are all in Schoology, as well as our assistant principals. We have our Read 180 teachers in there collaborating. And a number of classrooms across the district are using it, with students producing writing and being able to share in that cloud computing. But the whole idea is that kids are able to go onto the internet and produce and create in a safe environment and collaborate with each other and work with their teachers. All of those 3 things need to be in place in order for us to have our 21st century learning skills, as well as preparing our kids to be college and career ready, and having those skills to be able to be good digital citizens, know how to behave and be online, and understand fair use and copyright and being safe online, as well as being critical thinkers and problem solvers and learning how to do different kinds of projects with the technology. And that's that part that Peter was talking about with reading the Who Owns the Learning, as well as practicing that online practice. So we have to have the top 3 components in place to help us better do the bottom 2 components. And all of this is part of what was included in the tech plan. So a nice kind of visual to give you an idea of what's there.
Just looking at the installation schedule, and you have a copy of that in your board packet, but I gave you a new copy today. And this is only a couple of days younger than the one that you have, but what I wanted to show you is on the front page, items 2 218 and 219 were Alice Norman, which showed lower percentage rates, now show 90 and 30%. So if you look at item 214, which is the progress for Alice Norman School, it's gone from 61% to 84%. So that's the kind of progress we're making. This document is only about 2 years younger than the document you have in your board packet, and yet the progress continues, and we stay on top of this. So we get very excited. About once a week we get one of these, and there are more check marks, and what that says is we're staying right on target and we're staying right on time, and we like that. There are a couple items that are on the board agenda tonight that you'll see, and they're connected very much to what we're doing. The board has been very supportive with staffing and resources to make sure that we can actually carry these things out. So there are a couple of job descriptions. We've heard back from a variety of people that we need to have a little higher level of skill among some of our tech people. So we have now broken out what used to be a technology technician role, with the last revision of that job description being in 2009, into a Tech 1 and Tech 2 job description. That shows up later tonight for action item. The other items that we have is a resolution for the device purchase to basically pursue a WISCA giant contract to be able to get the best price on the Lenovo products that we have chosen. And one of them is here. This is the Yoga. In fact, most of them are designed this way. The tablet is not, but the other three are, the Windows laptops and the Chromebook. This is actually a Chromebook. And what it allows you to do is turn inside out and use it as a touch screen. All of these have touch screens, and they're all strong, durable military specs, and this is what will be arriving in a few weeks if you're able to approve that resolution. And I thought you might want to see it.
So can we turn in our iPads?
Yeah.
Scott says no. It might be kind of hard to see, but this is basically an outline, and you've seen us use these before to kind of look at the tech initiatives. But what it shows is months June, July, and then August, September, October, November, December, January, and then it goes February, March, April, May, June, July, and August. And what we've done is we've broken out some of the major initiatives we're involved in. You'll see that the wireless implementation takes us through August, the end of August. But what we want to have happen, and what we're going to expect to have happen, is that we'll be live at all schools prior to the beginning of the school year. But different schools are coming online at different times, and that's part of the packet that you have in your board packet that you'll see. We started with a couple of our smaller schools because we want to test it out, and then what you see is one school at a time, one after another, being fully installed and saturated with Wi-Fi. And we're going to run, the actual live part comes a little bit afterwards. There's still configuration that our tech team has to do. So it's not like the minute you plug it in, it's ready, like Wi-Fi that you pick up at Best Buy. But it does follow that, and we expect to have the first 4 schools ready towards the end of January, and then it'll speed up after that. There are also one-on-one device implementations, and basically we're looking to outfit our innovative educators that you've heard so much about, and you heard about again tonight, that they would have their devices, the goal is before Christmas, and that they can go home and work on those and play on those and learn about them, and that their classrooms would be getting those in February and March, that we'd be able to outfit and image those for their students. And then from there, actually grow that, but this is the first wave of people to receive that. And then the cloud computing is on a pretty ambitious timeline as well. We've actually already released some of the filters on some of the Google apps by themselves, things like Hangouts, things like Circles that people can now access. And then what we're going to do is start to actually build the Google Apps for Education environment and get help with configuration on that. And then have that ready for, first, our innovative educators and DTAC people around December, January, February, and then to take it to scale around the district in the early spring. So what I hope you see is some real progress on this. We're pushing people really hard to get this done, but we're making some good progress, and we're very, very pleased with what's happening. Are there any questions?
Any questions from the board? Ms. Leland?
Great presentation, exciting. Thank you very much.
So exciting. Thank you. This is very, very exciting. My only concern a little bit would be that as people get the computers and they're able to get online, is I just wouldn't want to see a child on it all day long. I just read some interesting research, about reading on a screen versus reading, on a hard paper. So I just wouldn't want to see, I know kids get so much screen time at home, so that teachers have the tools, and I know you're working so hard on that, Kim, but to get those tools out to all the teachers so they really know how to use these in the best way. So it's not just, Khan Academy for a long time or, and so if you need a TOSA or whatever you need, I think down the road, I would be happy personally to support that, because I know it can be a lot of work. It's a change for people, and you get this, this great device. We know you have your innovative educators doing great things, but you might need some more support getting out to everybody. So thank you.
Ms. Villegas?
I agree with Sarah. That's good points. This is really heavy. It's industrial strength, I think, but it's a little bit heavy. And I was just wondering, are you going to add Bright to that wireless plan, or is that not on the plan? Yeah, eventually.
That would be in a separate scope, but it's definitely something that's envisioned as part of the program that we're doing now with getting the culinary program and the hospitality ready.
Just checking. Thanks. Great job.
I too am very excited about it. I know we've been waiting to come up to the 20th century. But so I can understand students at school, they'll log on with their student ID or with the classroom ID, or how would that work?
We're kind of working through that. I think the goal is to try to make it as simple as possible, something that all the kids would memorize and they'd only have to do it once. I'm not sure quite how that's all going to shake out, but I think that's certainly the goal. We've also talked about what we might do with our moniker, how we might make that more simplified. I think going to a Google Apps for Education environment allows us to maybe look at that again and change that so it's something simpler than wsd.k12.ca.us, and we're looking into that as well. But the main thing is to try to keep it simple.
Sure. And something I would like to see, and, I'm not sure if the rest of the board, but when I go on campus, sometimes I'd like to log on, and I can't. So I don't know if there's a time where the board members can have some type of ID, or if it's going to be a guest thing or something.
Part of the configuration of this, and our tech team is working on that now, is a level of guest access, and it would be very similar to what you would get when you go to a conference center or to a hotel. You wouldn't be able to get lots and lots of things, but they're certainly kind of regular web access and the ability to check your email.
Great. Thank you so much. Item number 5, the Bridgeway Island classroom expansion.
Members of the board, as we depart from other discussion items, I just want to applaud the work of staff and our teachers, particularly in a real concerted effort to move us forward. You can see there are a lot of moving parts. We've made great advances, and we're doing it in very short order. So it's really a tribute to a lot of people coming together to make things happen. So it's exciting. And I thought in the context of what we're talking about, there's been reference to a bond measure that's on the ballot. I think it's important to point out that we are doing so much right now to establish an infrastructure that's really allowing this district to move forward, and we won't be delayed. So we're excited about that. So I wanted to just make that shout out. As we move into our next item, Bridgeway Island classroom expansion, as you know, we were forced to overflow a number of students from Bridgeway this year from the 6th grade group. The board has expressed some interest. Parents have been concerned, and the board expressed some interest in taking a look at what would be necessary to do to bring kids back this year for 6th grade. And we've had some discussions about this. We have conferred with architectural groups that have looked at both a short-term and a long-term plan to do that. Part of the resolve to the 6th grade situation right now doesn't necessarily address our needs at that site for 7th grade and subsequent years. So we want to take a look at, the short order fix, if you will, and then what it would take to make it right in the long term. So we've got two different views of that, if you will. The board also asked that we take a look at the current status of the students that were in fact displaced recently. And I provided a survey recently. We conducted that survey of the 20 families that were affected and found that under the conditions we're considering, i.e. a return after the new year most likely, and potentially to a self-contained environment because of the number of students involved in the 6th grade arena, it would be approximately 6 students that would want to return for this year of the 20. There's a higher number of students that would want to return for 7th grade in the subsequent year. So that's basically what's on the table for the board's consideration and discussion. Staff's prepared to discuss and provide more detail as you so choose.
Any questions from the board? Ms. Kirby Gonzalez? Ms. Villegas? No, no questions. Thank you for the update. Appreciate it.
Perhaps at this point, it might be helpful if we had some direction in terms of what we want to do. In essence, I would say there are really two options on the table. Our recommendation or intent would be to prepare for the 2015 school year, to provide a proper facility with a modular building that would be, I think, in line with our design intention. In light of the number of students that we're intending to return in a self-contained environment in the 6th grade, it seems distracting or maybe a conflict with the overall intent for the long term. So that's my take on it. But again, I think we need the board's input in terms of direction you'd like to give.
Ms. Leland?
Well, looking at the survey and the information that you got back, there were just so few students that I would tend to want to go to the 2015 school year with a modular and wait and do it the right way. So that would be my suggestion.
Ms. Villegas?
I agree with Ms. Leland.
Kirby Gonzalez?
Yes, and to reiterate, it was 3 classrooms at $200,000 each, I think, for the temporary fix. Is that about correct? Okay, so yeah, I think looking at the justification of the amount of money that we're, $600,000 for just a few students, am I correct in thinking that then?
I would clarify that an immediate fix would probably not necessitate 3 portables. It would be less than that because of the number of students that would intend to return. We were anticipating maybe to accommodate the entire group mid-year or later. It may require up to 3 classrooms, but now based on the new data, it wouldn't take that necessarily. But our last portable placed at that site, I believe, was $170,000 that we placed there maybe 2 years ago, I believe. So
yeah,
that's
and
probably the ballpark.
Okay, and I think without enough to fill even a small class, there's really not enough to do that. So I agree with my fellow board colleagues.
I think you have direction. I think we're all in agreement in 2015 modular.
Thank you for that. I think that's the right call. We'll reach out to our families and let them know what our intent is so there's no more confusion, and we will proceed full speed to make sure that we can accommodate that group for the 2015-16 year and subsequent years in a proper multi-schedule secondary program. Thank you.
Thank you. And item number 6, naming of the science building at River City High School.
Yes, the board heard from a group of folks from River City High School that were recommending the naming of a classroom wing, a science wing at that site. And we have looked, and we do have policy that would allow the board to do that. We could bring that back for action if you're so inclined or interested. It would fit within the criteria. There's a couple different ways the board could go in naming a school or a building. Something as specific as a building at River City High School, it simply makes sense to me that the school would be really the impetus behind that and really driving that forward. If you were looking to name a school, which you will be doing in the not too distant future, you would probably want to involve an entire community advisory group to come forward with recommendations and such. But this was a very specific request. It would be permissible under your current policy, so we can prepare that if you'd like.
Any comments or questions?
I would like to bring it back to vote on.
As an action item?
Yeah, absolutely, fully support.
Third, no.
We'd like to all bring it back for an action item, and it's a wonderful idea. I thank them for bringing it forward.
Can I say too, I would hope that there would be, this would come later, but if it was approved, there would be some type of a small ceremony at the campus or so. Okay, thank you.
Huge. We're down to action items. Action item number 1, to approve the board resolution number 1415-07 for the purchase of one-to-one devices for teacher and student use. I have a motion.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
We have to roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Ms. Mary Leland?
Aye.
Ms. Kirby Gonzalez?
Aye.
Ms. Villegas?
Aye.
I too vote aye. That's 4 ayes. Action item number 2, to adopt resolution number 1415-08, allowing the use of Government Code 4217.10 to 421.7.18 to contract for construction of solar power facilities. I just have a quick comment. My packet, I have every other page. I don't know if maybe it was online or something better. There was a page I really was interested in looking at, but I don't know if all of ours are like that.
I got the whole thing.
The big, in the back, the attachment.
Oh, I got the same thing.
You have the same problem?
I was interested. Well, I wanted to see, and I apologize because I didn't know.
Oh, wait, I have the front and back. Do you want to see this one? What page is it?
Yeah, mine's not front and back.
I think some of them.
Okay. Is that what it is?
Mystery solved. Yeah, if I can take a real quick minute just to look at one item. Actually, it's a pretty large packet. What I was looking for, I believe it was attachment J. Professional service, no, that's not it, I'm sorry. The maintenance, attachment I, the maintenance service. I apologize, I haven't been out to the campuses lately, but I do have concern about the upkeep on those solar panels. I'm not sure if those have been attended to, because I know the last time I was out at Riverbank, the grass was pretty high, but it's been a while, so I was just concerned with the maintenance in this contract.
And so the site you visited was Riverbank or River City?
I would say Riverbank.
Riverbank? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll follow up on Riverbank.
It's been a while. It may have been taken care of, but when I was looking at this, my page was missing, so I didn't see that. But other than that, I'm willing to entertain motions.
So moved.
Can
I think we
I'm
have
sorry.
more discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just have a couple questions. One being, would you remind us why this doesn't go out to bid?
Well, because this is a contract that we put together through program development. It's very specific to the site. There's an institutional knowledge that comes from Chevron Optera as far as some of the process that they go through where they put it together. And it also doesn't go out to bid because the contract code that we're using allows you to sole source, so you don't have to take a low bid in something like a solar project. The reason for that is that a low bid might not give you the benchmarks that you're looking for. And so this is done on best value so that it falls into the benchmarks that Mr. Driver showed you earlier and some of the offsets that we're trying to get. So contract code is developed specifically for that because something like a solar project or an energy efficiency project isn't about low bid, it's about best value.
And then my other question was when we were first approached by then Chevron, now name changes. I remember we talked about a lot of different energy initiatives, things that they were going to come in and look at. We're going to look at windows and many different things. And so has that been reduced to now only solar panels? Or
No, there's solar, there's some lighting retrofits, and there's some water conservation measures. We did look at a much broader scope, but the timing of this project is such that there are no longer solar incentives to help offset the cost. And so the scope that we were looking at had to be reduced because we couldn't get the cost savings that we were looking for.
okay, so what is the lighting then?
It is exterior lighting, it's LED lighting exterior, and there's a couple of spots in the district where some of the interior ballasts are not current. We didn't do them in our first efficiency upgrade back in 2010, and so they're catching those in this upgrade here.
And then the solar tube roofing that I know we talked about with the, in the other presentation, would that still be something then separate that we would be looking into as a district?
The solar tubes that Mr. Driver referred to at Riverbank are in a separate contract. They'd be under Prop 39, and that work has to go out to competitive bid.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Any more discussion?
We already have a motion?
We have a motion.
I'll second.
And this is a roll call vote also. Ms. Leland?
Aye.
Ms. Curry B. Gonzalez, sorry.
I feel like I need more time, so I would make a motion to vote on this at the next board meeting.
There's already a motion on the floor and a second, so we have to vote on this and then come back to that.
Okay, no.
Ms. Villegas?
Aye.
I too vote aye. That's 3 ayes and 1 nay. Item action number 4, to approve the job description of technology technician revised, technology technician number 2 new.
3.
Oh, I marked it off, sorry. Thank you. Let me go back. I skipped number 3. Adopt Resolution 1415-09, authorizing the sale of certificates of participation, and Resolution number 1415-10, amending the district's 2007 certificates of participation. Anyone? Any conversation? Any questions?
If there's no discussion, I will move to adopt Resolution 1415-09 and Resolution 1415-10.
I second the motion. It's also a roll call vote. Ms. Leland?
Aye.
Ms. Kirby Gonzalez?
Aye.
Ms. Villegas?
Aye.
I too vote aye. That's 4 ayes, 0 nays. Okay, now number 4. Approve job descriptions, Technology Technician 1 revised and Technology Technician 2 new. Any discussion? No? Can I get a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 The consent items. Can I get a motion to approve the consent items?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent item agenda.
I'll second.
Oh.
Triple.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Have any future board agenda items?
I just have a suggestion. My son had, and actually Oscar also saw, Justin Fatica. Does that name sound familiar to anybody? Come to the high school, and if anybody's seen the show, If You Really Knew Me, fascinating. And it was, they had a presentation for the students during the school day, high school students, and then they had a presentation for the parents. And I would just love the opportunity to bring someone like that to River City High School if folks are so interested. He was very impactful, and I heard from a lot of kids and adults that it was a great presentation, and I'd love to help facilitate that if we can. Don says yes, so we're in. Thanks.
Any more future board agenda items?
This isn't, I guess, a board agenda item, but it's a follow-up to one of the directions we gave tonight. Are you going to be contacting those parents of the students that perhaps wanted to come back to Bridgeway mid-year, and to let them know that you'll have some follow-through on that, that we're moving toward the 2015 modular, that you'll be able to communicate with the parents?
Sorry. We intend to do that right away, yes. In fact, they were very, very appreciative of the contact we've had with them already, and we told them we would be getting back with them. So we'll do that first thing tomorrow.
Okay, thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to clarify that.
I have one more thing. For those of you that didn't make it to the Yellow Brewing Company's opening ribbon cutting ceremony, although they've been open for quite some time, they had a run for Rhett there, and I don't know if folks have heard of that program, but it's an after-school running program where teachers can apply to do after. It has to be a teacher. It has to be teacher initiated, but to do a running program, a 5-week running program for kids, and they offer grants for that. And I met the parents, their son. They're doing this in memory of their son who passed away, and it's a great program. And I'd love to bring it to Washington Unified. They're in Davis, they're in Elk Grove, and I think San Juan, and I would love to get them at some of our schools here locally. So if anybody, teachers are interested in that, I don't know the best way to get that information to them, but I have their business card, so if somebody could let me know the best way.
I think our teachers are running as fast as they can right now.
This would be running with the kids, though.
Hey, and you know what? This is a reminder disclaimer if you're interested. Get your flu shot. Flu season's coming
We
around
have
those
some
kids.
clinics coming up here.
So can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.